Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at in social media land, radio land, on all the other blog platforms. Welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat here in sunny Port Richey, Florida. And of course, my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, in an undisclosed bunker in northern Texas. Hello, Mr. Steve Reed. My fellow Patriots.
Buenos dias, senor.
Okay, so he's a Mexican today, but that's okay. He's identifying as Hispanic Mexican.
Oh, how's Ray doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Walking more, getting out. Started teaching this week, and
cool.
Slowly getting back to a life of normalness.
Yeah, whatever normal is for you.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
So how are you doing?
Ray, I'm doing very well. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and doctor gave me the green light to start walking more. So I'm still using a boot, but I don't need my scooter anymore. And I still use the cane, basically just to alert people that I am a special needs person. And we'll
something like that.
Exactly. Ray, I am thrilled to pieces to have a returning guest.
Absolutely. I mean, our topic is going to be about money, economy.
Yes.
The January 6th insurrection.
Yeah.
And our guest is a returning guest, Mr. Anthony Russo, who's the founder of Be the Change, which is a movement for entertainment channel dedicated to truth and action. And we'll let Anthony talk a little bit more about all of his projects that he's got in the works. Anthony, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
Hola, and bienvenidos social media. I am from near the Mexican border as well, somewhere in a bunker in Texas. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing fabulous. Hold on.
I guess we should be going to the Hispanic networks next.
See?
Anywhere along the border right now, might as well be one. Anyways, as you said, Anthony Russo from #BeTheChange, Truth Will Set You Free USA. The Instagram page, by the way, doing phenomenal lately. I don't know what cool algorithmic gods I made happy, but apparently I did. And then also the show Blunt Force Discussion, with an event coming up in Dallas, Texas, called the Great American Summit. So working on a lot of that, patriotic events, just being a part of the community that wants to create change and First Amendment and a voice for the people that right now seem to be voiceless. And that's me in a room that looks nothing like a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay, so Anthony, I got a question for you. You said you're trying to change things, but the problem is you're not trying to change things. You're trying to get things back to where they used to be.
Yeah, change things back. Kind of like twice a year on the clock, or once a year on the clock. Change it back. Yeah,
I gotcha.
Which might eventually end as well.
I fully understand. So, sorry, are you surviving daylight savings time?
You know, I live on a ranch, so waking up in the morning is already hard because I'm a night owl. Not like Joe Biden. I still wake up and do things before 9 a.m. But yeah, no, I
sorry. When I heard that yesterday, I'm like, you have got to be kidding.
We played that on our show last night. Did you see Saki's face after that 20-second bit where I think in her eyes, she was like, blah, 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 blah. I think she realized exactly what she said, which was admitting that Joe Biden never does anything before 9 a.m. And that's
Exactly. That was hysterical. And then to say that he's a night owl, well, yeah, as long as he's got his nap in the afternoon, then
we have a president that does nothing. The leader of the free world doesn't usually, and to tell you how serious this banking collapse that happened underneath his watch with a company that really is breaking every rule known to mankind. Yeah, that's why he was willing to wake up early in the morning. Got it.
Yeah,
early,
exactly.
Early.
Yeah, at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So the previous administration with Donald Trump, he worked on only 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, he was at it going. You know, Joe Biden is like 8 to 12 hours of sleep or more, and
with naps in between.
Unreal. It's sad. It's like, this is the leader of the free world. We're kind of like, people make excuses like, well, he's a little older, you know, he still gets a lot done. This isn't a guy that manages a Wendy's. This is literally the leader of the free world that the whole world is supposed to look up to us. And right now we are supposed to be giving out gold stars on a board at a nursing home because this guy woke up early one time because 280 billion, whatever the bank, however much SVB lost, is all of a sudden gone, and they were able to sell it for $1 in the UK. Like, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Lost overnight. Literally overnight. Yeah. So, but you know what was interesting? Some of the news reports that I've seen is all of the upper echelon of the bank, of SVB Bank, managed to have a windfall of their own stocks and managed to sell off their own stuff.
I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get in trouble for that because the COO did 500,000, and within 24 hours from that, the CEO did like 3.5 million. I think they're going to be in a little bit of trouble on that one. Who knows what deal they're going to make in a back room? But they're definitely going to be in deep doggy poo on that.
Can we hold that thought for 1 second, because we got to go to a hard break real quick.
Hold in my poo. Go ahead.
Ray,
and we'll come back, and you can, you can let those dingleberries out.
Okay. All right, here we go. And let's be a hero. Let's be a hero in action, Ray. Would you?
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Almanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.us, or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train.
So Ray, you are now back in training after your lobotomy a couple of weeks ago. I mean, your hip replacement.
Well, I'm back in coaching. I'm training. Right now I'm just doing physical therapy. Right?
I got you.
I'm not back in training yet, but
is Debbie doing the training, and you're just standing on the sidelines?
I do some of the exercise routines and things like that, and some of the self-defenses. Anything that I can't do, then Miss Debbie will help demonstrate and keep the classes going.
All right. So are you still looking to raise funds for Heroes in Action?
We're always. We're going to be traveling to New York at the end of this month, and then I'll be going back to St. Louis at the end of April. So yes, we're always looking for donations so that we can continue traveling across the country and promoting our lectures and seminars. I actually came up with a whole new format that I'm going to test on people here in Florida, and I want to run it by you later on. So I think you're going to get a big kick out of it. But yes, just use the QR code. Yeah.
Okay.
Use the QR code to go to the website at heroesinaction.us, to make a donation and help keep our programs going.
Why don't I put that up here on the screen and let people see that as well as the QR code. So for our listening audience, again, that is heroesinaction.us, and people can contribute there. And what are you looking for? You want people to give you $500 a week? Is that what you're looking for?
It can be anything from whatever is in your comfort zone, anything from $5 a month to $25 a month or more.
Okay.
We're just trying to raise enough funds to cover all of our overhead expenses, printing costs, because everything we give out is free, and all of our training is free. So we provide everything to the public free of charge. So in order to continue doing that, we need more donors so that we can continue to help save lives.
And if people want to reach out to you directly, they can reach out to you at ray@heroesinactionnow.org.
That is correct. That's
Very
the best
good.
email to reach me at.
Hot Daily Dog. All right.
Let's,
Well,
let's
Ray, I'm
bring Mr.
going to bring
Anthony
Mr.
back,
Anthony
because
back in. And
I don't want him to strain too hard with his poop.
Oh, that'd be terrible. Was I on when I came back? I was trying to share the show and audio was going all over the place, so I didn't know if you had to bring me back down. I apologize.
No.
Okay, thanks. See, that worked.
You're
You
good.
guys are pros.
You're good. So, okay, so we were talking about the money that the upper echelon of SVB Bank, or SVB, what
Silicon Valley Bank.
what they supposedly walked away with. But who's going to go after them?
Well, nobody's going to go after them now because they're essentially a federalized bank. They were kind of forced into sale.
Right.
They've been backed by the U.S. Treasury because of the administration, which again, to be honest, I don't think they had a choice. They kind of had the current administration put themselves in this situation with inflation and interest rates. And then, and I'm not going to say Trump is completely innocent on this. Some of the deregulation he did in 2018 played a role, but that still doesn't that doesn't exonerate people from complete and utter corporate greed.
Right.
So nobody's going to go after them. I do think the CEO and the COO will definitely get some kind of fine from the FTC of some kind, or be banned from trading for a while. But that's all I got on that.
But how does that help the thousands of people or millions of people that are affected by this?
So I don't think that. I think the people affected by this are more so people that are not SVB bankers. I think the people that are directly affected are the shareholders. This was a $300 stock, and Biden says they knew the risk as investors, which is very, very true. But if you're going to do the bailout, they're doing a bailout-ish. They're essentially protecting the money beyond the FDIC, which comes out of tax dollars, which therefore means us. We're the ones that are actually going to be eventually paying for this.
Right. Along with inflation rates and so forth. But here's the question. One of the things that I've heard is that depositors are not going to be affected, that they're going to have full access to their money in time. I don't know if it's immediate or not, but they're going to have full access. But it's just the investors, because they should have known better, because there is risk involved when you invest like this.
Right. No, it's 100%. And there is. I mean, I was talking about some of my frustration going into this show, and I talked about my spa business. But in terms of investments, if anybody knows a bad investment the last 2 years, it's this guy. But again, I understand the risk, and that's what I always say. I know the risk behind it. These investors did. It's unfortunate because last week, if you had $30,000 in SVB stock, you have zero now. You literally have almost zero. It's very little, and a risk of not being able to cash it out either. I don't even know what SVB is at. I think it was like 40 or 30 the last time I looked at it. So I'll look during the show. But anyways, they know the risk. I don't disagree with that. I understand that. But I also don't like the fact that they've all of a sudden stepped in on the FDIC thing, which is maxed out at $250,000 per account. And it's ironic. I don't know if you saw this late last night that came through the wire, that Gavin Newsom, who lobbied for the bailout, also had two of his wineries business banking with SVB, and potentially he had previously several personal accounts, according to other people. Whether they were still in there, I don't know. But again, Gavin Newsom, a civil servant, somehow I'm sure has well over $250,000 in there, and he lobbied without disclosing to the public for that bailout that he had
Wouldn't that be like a conflict of interest?
No, Steve.
I wonder if Miss Nancy, if she, Ray, I need a sound effect. I wonder if Miss Nancy was lobbying for it as well, because we know that she was an investor as well.
You have to assume. I don't think she was I doubt she was an investor. She knew better than that. She was probably a banker, because I mean, she's San Francisco. That's her district. It's the Silicon Valley Bank, and her son banks there. I'm assuming she had some of her stock. I'm sorry, some of her husband's stock money in there.
I heard somebody say something the other day. We're talking.
Steve, I'm going to hold you to the clock here because we do. You're gonna have to hold that thought,
dude.
Because we gotta go to another break.
Okay, here we go. Hold on, buddy.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells, a true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state, in a way no other product can. No drugs, no injections, no kidding.
And I am thrilled to pieces to talk about the X39 stem cell activation patch. A little thin wearable patch. You take the paper backing off, you put it on your body wherever you want to put it. Right now I'm wearing it on my belly. So it's one of the strong activation points. But better sleep, more energy, better focus, and it is helping to heal my ankle more better. So I am very, very excited about that aspect of the stem cell activation patches.
So not only can people be customers by purchasing the different products that they have for stem cell growth, but they can also become a distributor and get supplemental income. That's something that we've never really touched on for people.
Ray, it's interesting you say that, because one of the things that I talk with a lot of people about, especially those that are in the 60-plus range.
Since we're talking about money here.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about people. I spend a lot of my time talking with people that are over 60, and they're typically in fixed incomes. Well, their fixed income has gone down. Or the spendable income has gone down. So some of these people are looking for ways to supplement their income. And our target market is the 50-plus people. Although I talked to somebody yesterday who's in his early to mid-30s. He's like, I'm interested in that. So there is an income opportunity. It's a great, great company. And they have gone up 15 times in the past 4 years.
So how can people in our listening audience learn more or get a hold of you?
You're going to make me put...
Yes, I am.
There we go. You can go to my website, and my website is lifewave.com/Stephen Reed, STEPHENREED, and you are welcome to reach out to me there, or you can also reach my email address, which is info@StephenReedMinistries.com. Same spelling, Stephen Reed Ministries. Info. So, and it's time for us to bring Mr. Anthony back in.
So I had to do a double check on SVB while you guys were talking about stem cells.
Yes,
and the LifeWave. SVB actually halted trading on March 9th at $106, which was a drop from the open that day at 176. So essentially it's 106, but people can't access their money, I don't believe. So
Yeah,
because
that's
you
my
can't sell it.
understanding.
It's a non-trading stock. And again, I love the stock market. I trade options. I actually don't. I'm not really sure what that means when it's been closed for several days. So that's what I got for you.
Love it. I love it. And I don't know, before Ray so rudely interrupted, I have no clue what I was going to say. I know it was very good. But, oh, Ray, you're
By the way, that the beginning of the LifeWave commercial, that first 15 seconds is depressing. It is very depressing.
I understand.
But they build it up in the end. It's good. And I know a lot of LifeWave.
It's fact of life.
Yeah. Oh, fact. Yeah.
I mean, you get to your, okay, I'm going to tell just a little thing on Steve. Up until about a year and a half ago, when I started using these patches, it was not uncommon for me to take a 2 o'clock nap. Just 10, 15 minutes, just a real quick speed nap and so forth, and I'm back. I haven't taken a nap in a year and a half.
So you were Joe Biden. You're saying that Joe Biden needs the LifeWave patches.
There's no question if it is really Joe Biden, but that's another topic of discussion. Anyway, so Ray, Anthony, what do you think is the future? And what's the fallout with not just SVB, but the other banks that are having issues as well? What do you think the fallout is?
Well, the fallout is the fact that our economy is set up on a house of cards right now. So when you look at all of the different things happening with, and you can relate the big layoffs with Meta with 10,000 and then another 10,000, and now we're at 20,000. It's a quarter of their team at Meta. You can look at that as a sign of the recession. You could look at I think the last time we were on the show, we were asking each other, are we in a recession or not? And I still don't know. Like, we keep teeter-tottering it, and the Fed finds a way to balance the rate out enough. But I think this interest rate, the way that we have gone up so much in one calendar year, a historical raise. I mean, we've been as high as 20% before, or I think the high, it's been up to 20%, so like decades ago. But the difference was it got there much slower and slower and slower. And we unfortunately just, and this is, again, not fully the Biden administration fault. This is the end of Obama. This is Trump. This is a bunch of things that led to this, where we just kept having these low interest rates because, look at the economy. It's doing so well. We're buying homes. We're buying all this stuff. So we elongated the dip. We had the natural dip because of COVID. And then here we are now, where it's everything is just holding on by a thin thread. SVB shows that it is possible. And like we talked about before the show, is this by plan? Is this by direction? Because there's a lot of people seeing a lot of fear right now. And with that fear, it really starts pushing that theory of we could really use a one world government. We could use a one world banking system. And that's the scary kind of ESG side to this at the end of the day.
Okay, is it just SVB that is being affected, or is it all of the banks? And why? What else besides the interest rates and all of that stuff? What are some of the other reasons why SVB went down?
Well, it's more than just SVB. There was a second medium to large size bank, and then there was about 10 other bank stocks that dropped really heavily. What was it? Signature Bank was one of them. Yeah, Signature, I think, halted trading as well. SBNY, that's out of New York. So there's a bunch that went down. So what's the cause behind this? A lot of it is corporate greed, and also very similar to the run that got made on FTX. It's fear. It's fear brought out by, like, all right, you got to start taking your money out and realizing that they're not backed the way that they need to be backed by cash flow, by actual cash flow. But there's no reason there should be lines in California out the door to take your money out of banks. That's the scary part.
Yeah. As a side note, we need to tell our audience, both listening and watching us, we are an opinion-based program. And because the three of us are spot on accurate, then we're talking about truth. So it's kind of like the truth will set you free, sort of thing. So anyway, but we are an opinion-based program, and this doesn't necessarily mean that that's what our sponsors and affiliates are agreeing with, but it is our opinions.
So, Anthony, you had briefly talked about algorithms forcing a narrative on social media. Does that have other factors with what we're talking about?
Well, I mean, it has to do with everything we talk about. I mean, that's something interesting unrelated to my content. I don't know what happens to you guys, but when I go on social media, specifically Facebook, as somebody that predominantly posts more of a conservative angle of content, why is every page that shows up on the top of my news feed socialist or ultra leftist? And when I say socialist, I'm not being like, oh, it seems socialist. No, it's literally called like socialist pages. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, if my algorithm should be based more on a conservative viewpoint, imagine the rest of this country, what their news feed shows first: anti-Trump propaganda, anti-conservative Trump propaganda, or any of the things that go against what we're saying. So I think that's interesting that algorithm plays a role, because, and we'll get into it, but the January 6th is a perfect example of where it's like, oh, they've probably only seen this pushed by Meta, by Instagram, well, that is Meta, and by TikTok, all these things there. The initial push is always going to be the anti-conservative side. And then you've got mainstream media that's 87% up to 92% leftist. It's
right.
Scary.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we were talking about also before the program was the where SVB and a lot of the banks have been sending their money, and it's BLM or affiliate types of organizations, a lot of woke type things, and they're not capitalists. They're just snagging money from anybody they can snag it. But then the question is, where did all of the money go that was supposedly going to BLM interests?
It's a great question. I was bringing it up on my phone because I wanted the stats. Ray, how are we on the break time? I want to make sure this is a big topic. I don't want to get heavy into this and then, have to forget my name and go poop.
Yeah. We've got a couple minutes before our next break.
Well, we can start it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, so the big thing with SVB, and I think a lot of this is also mismanagement with banks and their money. Like if I was an SVB banker just because I lived out there, I'd be really, really upset, or especially an investor, because they're not getting any of their money back. I'd be really upset right now thinking about the fact that there was, what was it? And this company was, the total amount across all of the platforms was like $82 billion, but this company was around $70 million that they gave. Silicon gave the movement $73.45 million to BLM and BLM type causes. The part that we got into before the show is that's a lot of money, considering the fact that BLM only has claimed to have raised around $200 to $250 million since 2020. So that's confusing to me. And then you start going into all of the other companies that and corporations. Essentially, they were there in the article that I read by Breitbart and then went through the numbers. They were beholden to BLM. If you didn't donate, BLM would out you, or these organizations would out you for not being a part of the cause. It was corporate, not espionage. It was corporate blackmail, essentially.
Right.
So I'm just confused. The total amount that this article came up with was $82 billion across all the different companies, which, by the way, as a point of reference, this is great. $82.9 billion is more than the GDP of 46 African countries. But there's Walmart, for example, based in Arkansas, gave $100 million in support of BLM. Again, BLM type causes. So how much actually went to BLM? You would think a decent amount. Where did it go? Where did 80 something billion go when you're talking about them probably putting about 200 to 250 million on their tax sheet? BLM. Very confusing.
And that's just one woke thing. Just one. That we haven't talked about the transgender and all of the LGBT and all of the other stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the CRT stuff that's going on in schools and all of those other woke things, the billions of dollars that is being wasted on those things. Absolutely insane.
Don't forget climate change.
Yeah, climate change.
Well, I did because I went outside earlier and it was a little on the cool side. So I guess later today it'll warm up. Wow, that's climate change. That is absolutely amazing.
And you have to hearken back to the Act Blue stuff. You have to think about Act Blue in terms of the fact that was that whole conspiracy, which it wasn't. It was very clear. You go to BLM, it all goes through Act Blue, which is essentially a fundraising platform for any blue initiative, which includes voting and races, political races, which, again, I don't know how this is a tax write-off when it's clearly when it's clearly not a 501c3 setup. It should be a 501c4 setup, to be honest.
Right.
And you wonder where all that money went. And I think that this is that whole conspiracy of the funneling all the way through. There's an $80 billion somewhere. Where is it?
Well, we definitely got to follow the money, and we got to go to another break. So we're talking with Anthony Russo with The Truth Will Set You Free, and we'll get back with Mr. Russo after this next break.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events segment of OBBM Network News. New episodes posted each week are reaching people right here in your own backyard. Get in on this. Now it's affordable to reach thousands of people in new markets, offering exposure to your professional network like never before. Get us your listing by Tuesday at noon, and you'll be included in the following week's release on Monday. Email info@offbeatbusiness.com for our digital media kit and discover a better way to reach DFW. Not hosting events? Your business will benefit from the exposure our events list generates. Take advantage of brand exposure on the ticker or with the logo graphic, video advertisement, even a QR code. Click on our QR code to access our digital media kit now.
And the cool thing about that is, Anthony, if I'm not mistaken, you are here as a result of my relationship with Susan.
Exactly. And if you saw in that clip, that one good-looking guy on the right,
I saw that.
I would do news with Susan. Susan's a beast, and you could tell if you look at the quality of our first episodes compared to what they have now, it's like she literally in a span of 3 months has just blown that up, and she's done a phenomenal job. But I will say, I'm going to take credit for one thing. You notice the laptops on the desk. Susan was more of a note person. I was like, you got to do the laptop and go off that. And boom goes the dynamite. They're using the laptop.
How about that?
You're welcome, Susan. Welcome.
And here I am with all of these notes.
And I'm
I'm on my
laptop.
laptop. What do you know?
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. But the great thing is Susan is absolutely busting at the seams, not only with her studio, but she's starting to reach audiences around the country. So, folks, if you're looking for a way to get your message out and you can reach a nationwide audience, then you ought to look into advertising on OBBM Network. It's a great opportunity, very affordable, and it helps a lot of people. It is all conservative, free speech topics and voices that you will hear. So we're trying to get
And
the truth
we
out there
are
again.
proud to be a part of the OBBM network.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, anyway, okay. So, where were we, Anthony?
Well, we were still talking about all the money spent on BLM, Act Blue. If people got to act, I'm going to do this on Instagram later, but so I mentioned Walmart already, and a lot of this is racial equity. So, like you said, this isn't even. I would sometimes Breitbart's great, but sometimes it's slightly imperfect. So this could be for all areas, but you got to know that BLM was where the heavy money went. But a pharmaceutical company, shocker on this one, pharmaceutical company, ABBVIE, who knows what drugs they make, $62 million in funding. Allstate gave $7.7 million, American Express $50 million, Apple $100 million. If I was a shareholder, which I am actually in Apple, that pisses me off. Why would you spend the money on innovation? Whatever. AT&T gave $21.5 million and $90 million from Nike, not to mention United Airlines, JetBlue, Southwest, Delta all gave money to these causes. What's the big one? Wells Fargo diverted $210 million towards BLM. Deloitte gave $85 million to BLM. BlackRock, shocking, $810 million to BLM and related causes. And what does BLM related causes do? They create chaos, and that helps these massive organizations.
Exactly.
They thrive under chaos. Small businesses are crushed.
Yep. It goes back to the what's the my brain just went blank. 50, 60 years ago, the group that Hillary was following closely.
Bilderbergs?
No, the chaos people. I'll think of it.
I don't know. Oh,
Weather Underground? No,
it was the. I'll think of it. I'll think of it. Let's.
What kind of chaos did they create? Let's play this.
You name it. You name it, everything. That was one of their fundamental things, is have so many things going on all at the same time, and you're going to create massive mayhem with everything, so that people finally throw their hands up and say, we can't take this anymore, let's reorganize into a different system.
Well, that was, that was, and this always gets me, I have to back it up, but the social justice movement was essentially based on chaos. There was there was a positive side to it, but if you really look into, Chad O'Jackson does a great job, one of the creators of the movie Uncle Tom, talking about the massive flaws in Martin Luther King. And I hate to say that because it's a touchy area, but this is a guy that was listed as a preacher that had very specific, more humanist ties, non-religious affiliated, and also thrived on chaos. And we know his great speeches, but we don't know some of the other sermons that he preached, which were very heavy in Marxism and socialism. So that was part of the social justice movement, which was based in chaos.
So I'll think of the name. It's a two people that were there. But anyway, let's move on. One of the things that we were talking about, Anthony, also is the release of some of the footage from the J6 incursion and sedition and insurrection and so forth. I take it you've seen, exactly. You've seen most of the videos that Tucker Carlson was playing last week.
I had already seen them before then, because most of them have been on Parler before. Okay. If you're on alternative sites, a lot of that has been there. Now, all the extra stuff of the QAnon shaman, a lot of that was new to me. I had seen the basics, but I had not seen all of the walking all around.
Right.
Yeah.
Some interesting part about that is he needs to have a mistrial, because he had requested other footage and they told him that it didn't exist. Right. So it was his word of mouth when he got 41 months by saying, I was literally escorted all over. All they had was 2 videos. Now they've got a lot more. So the fact that they were hiding this from this guy that walked in, there is footage of him walking in behind a crowd that was pushing. So you can get parading. My friend Cashley Kelly got parading, which is a 2-month charge. Granted, he's been serving for over 2 years, but you could get parading that's 2 months, not 41 months. So I think there's a lot that needs to be looked at with this. And as somebody, I was also there. And this is what I constantly say to the ultra crazy leftists in conversation. I was there on January 6th. I wasn't, and I will tell you, I was up close and personal. I did not go in the building, but I was right at the bottom of I was close. Wow. So from my perspective, I realized that I was wrong in some ways, because I did not see all I did not see the bad stuff happening. Yeah. But that was a small fraction of a percentage. That was the only thing that was, as Chuck Schumer would put it, cherry picked to show people for 6 months during the January 6th commission. To me, my viewpoint of the day was much more like the footage that is slowly but surely coming out for Tucker Carlson. But I'm still deemed an insurrectionist that I should be currently in jail by a lot of people on the left, according to my post.
And I guess I've never figured out why they are calling this an insurrection, but nobody, to the best of my knowledge, has been charged with sedition or insurrection.
I think there was one sedition charge, I believe. But like I have inside information from my friend Cashley Kelly, who's been in the January 6th gulag. He's finally out serving the rest of his sentence. It was based off of an old crime that was all kind of grouped together. But anyways, according to him, there were some bad people. There was some bad. There was some Trumpers that were a little too far on the side. Did they have a plan of overthrowing the government? No. But were they there to create violence? Yeah. Yes. But it was maybe 30, 40, 50 out of hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's insane. So
I got a question, though, because they had some video, and you can say this is a conspiracy or not, of where it was your Antifa dressing up as Trump supporters, going in and doing a lot of the violent stuff that we saw.
Antifa? Yeah. I was there. There was a lot of people dressed in all black, and it was one of those ones, in retrospect, I was like, it's a little weird. I had some other people that saw a bunch of people with hockey sticks kind of push forward in all black. The Ray Epps is a perfect example of some of the issues. Also, if we've all seen the video of Ashley Babbitt getting murdered, there was people in that room, and I know Taylor Hansen, one of the reporters that was in that room, told me and can tell you that half the people in that room that were creating violence have never been arrested, have never been brought in. Whereas there's people that literally just barely broke in, that went in, I shouldn't say broke in, but went in, or people that got in scuffles outside. I'm dealing with a 50-something-year-old woman right now that bought a booth for our event that is facing, her and her husband are facing over 20 years, I believe, for getting in a scuffle, for getting bear sprayed. And they're home raided in April of 2021, had no idea it was coming. And the FBI agents, by the way, a lot of them came up to her and apologized. They said, "We are sorry. This is just what they're being forced to do," which I would quit my job. Wow. But there's just so many things that are just misinformed about that day.
Yeah. So do you think those people will ever see justice?
I think the QAnon shaman will. I think that now that he's been made so public, it's impossible to deny it. From a legal standpoint, the American people still don't care. They are so buried in cognitive dissonance of the first 7 minutes of what they saw that day. Like, I don't foresee the bulk of people. Like, I don't foresee the innocent citizens like me being exonerated. And I don't know if the people that are they've already served. So they've already been serving for 2 or 3 years. So I don't know if there is really anything that can get that back. Personally, if there's a Republican president after this, I would sue the living daylights out of the Justice Administration and see what comes of it. You might fail, but I'm sure there's going to be a fund to do that. But it's just so frustrating when people use lines on social media. This has been the go-to. I was watching it live. I was there live, and I watched the footage that you watched, and I've watched other footage that you I'm sure will never see. And you're going to tell me your perspective of a news broadcast, whether it's Fox, CNN, MSNBC, that gets paid for drama, that they need views. You're going to tell me they gave you the perfect example of that day. You have to be kidding me. You can't be that dumb.
You know, Anthony, one of my favorite video clips that I've seen is the edited video of Josh Hawley as he's running through the corridor.
Yeah.
Okay? But you don't see the 10 seconds before that, where there are probably 20 other senators and congressmen that are also running.
Yeah, he was the last one out.
And I know we're probably going to go to a break. I don't fault anybody for any of the senator left or right for running, because they were being told that, and they had to be told that because they needed the footage of them going crazy. They needed the stories of them being afraid of their lives. They were being told that there was a massive insurrection going on. I would have ran my butt off as well.
Okay, so what I am hearing you saying, I don't mean to put words in your mouth. That's unsanitary. But are you saying that this whole thing was orchestrated?
Come again?
What are you saying? This whole insurrection? I mean, the video footage and everything, that was orchestrated. Are you saying it was all set up?
I'm not saying it's all set up. I think that they used it as a trap. They were like, let's see how this goes. Let's be underwhelmed by police officers. Let's open up doors in some places. Let's see what happens. And then we could, if it goes the way we want as the Democrats, we get to use this for the next several years and even in the history books. And
why would Nancy Pelosi? Yeah, why would Nancy Pelosi, after having been told that that there was information that there's going to be a lot of people and something bad was going to happen, and there was requests for more security, why would Nancy Pelosi refuse that and say we don't need it? And
she didn't refuse. So this is another, and I made this mistake too. She did not refuse it. She just did not order it. It was suggested by Trump, because it's actually the role, technically Pelosi's role at that point, based on the suggestion of Trump. It just was not followed. So it could have been done by Muriel Bowser, it could have been done by Pelosi, and it could have been done by the Sergeant of Arms. And none of them did it proactively, even though it was recommended by Donald Trump. So he didn't order it. He suggested it, but they knew what was happening. They saw how many people, and they were licking their chops for this bear trap they set.
Wow.
We need to take another break, but Anthony, I want to share a little video that you shared with us.
Yeah.
And you can talk to us a little bit about your summit coming up in June.
Yeah, sir.
If a foreigner can come to this country and has to learn the language, has to learn the culture, can go from living in Section 8 housing, and if I had to go broke again, I could do it all over again today. And if you're like, no, times are different, the American dream is dead, I'm here to tell you that the American dream is alive and well. The barrier to entry to the American dream is lower than ever. I'm here to say, first, win your mental freedom, and then win your financial freedom. And when you do, we can all fight collectively to win back our freedom from this great tyranny that we're dealing with. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Anthony, I cut you off.
No, you're good, because I was going to preface, but the video is good. It does the job, but yeah. I was going to preface it with, that was one of our speakers last year, Bedros Killian, that was with Ray Cash Garrett. All these, we had phenomenal names in year number 1, and this was just our preview for year number 2, which we are at a bigger venue this year. You can find out a lot more details at greatamericansummit.com. We still have early bird pricing for general admission tickets. We're still looking for sponsors. We had about 150 people there last year. Susan, that's actually where I met Susan. And we're looking to try to do 600 to 1,000. We've got room at Gillies in Dallas. Chad Prather is on the bill this year. I'm actually emceeing it. And if you want to really quick the backstory, that lovely lady Barb at the end, near the end, you saw her face on there. Barb Allen is a Gold Star wife. It's Barb and Dave that really started this Great American Syndicate, which led to the Great American Summit. And I've jumped on board with them because of how much I believe in them. But Barb is a Gold Star wife whose husband was murdered by another American soldier. And so it's a very interesting story. It's not your typical died in warfare. He was actually, I believe he was in Afghanistan, and he had just gotten there, and there was a soldier that was dealing illegal contraband to the enemy, and ended up, when he walked in on it, he ended up getting killed, I believe, by a mortar shell or explosion of some kind, and he was murdered. And she still believes enough in this country to spread patriotism, spread her beliefs, and that is the army that we have created of people that are there to learn about business, patriotism, community, and find that one connection where they could do business with the right people, with the people that want to support each other. And we've got booths, we've got tables that are up front, we've got a lot of different great people that are coming this year, and we're pretty excited about it. And Dr. McCullough is our opening speaker.
Now, our viewing audience was able to see the video, but our radio audience didn't see the date. I believe it was June 2nd and 3rd.
June 2nd and June 3rd. And you can email me. I think that's on the bottom of the screen. Russo at #BeTheChange.com. Spill out the hashtag. But it's, June 2nd and June 3rd. Right now, Dr. McCullough, he's gone the weekend, or on the 2nd and 3rd. So we have got him opening the event on the 1st. So if you buy a ticket in the next, there it is right there. If you buy a ticket shortly in the next, I believe by early April, it'll be included in that ticket, because that'll be a little bit smaller of an event with Dr. McCullough. So that will be on the night of June 1st. That'll be our kickoff. The event is emceed by Martha Krejci and myself. Barb and Dave are the hosts. Bobby Sausalito is going to be speaking. We've got, of course, Chad Prather and some of the other names. Larry Broughton, I believe. Eric Cannavalla. We've got great patriots, people that have, lived the American dream, talking about the American dream. And then we'll actually, this year, we want to make sure the community aspect is bigger so that we can actually have people get to meet each other. So we have, and find a way to actually make the connections, because we did a great job of that last year, but kind of by accident, but we want to make sure that that's a main point of this year as well.
Who do you think your main audience is?
Yeah, I think our main audience is people that are, first off, tired of being quiet, tired of not being able to speak up against mandates, their beliefs, and also people that are like, how can I support other patriots, and how can I also get support from other patriots? So people that want to be with like-minded people, get out of the tribal nature of probably the conservative end of the party, and just start to actually have fellowship and community with people that have mostly like-minded beliefs, and realize the only way we're going to get through these next several years, no matter who the next president is we have to band together. So people that are looking for something different, they don't want to necessarily go to a CPAC political rally, and they don't necessarily want to go to a heavy-duty business conference, but they want to go to something that enriches both sides, and they want to have a community and fellowship.
So you may have some First Amendment people there, Second Amendment people, states' rights people, Convention of States people, etc. So it's kind of a mixed bag of the types of people that you're trying to attract.
Exactly. And that's one of the speakers I forgot. We're going to have Michael Seifert from Public Square. So that's a perfect concept. Public Square, the CEO, he'll be there as one of the speakers. So yeah, and Mark Meckler, I've been reaching out to the Convention of States people as well. But yeah, people that are looking for different parts of different parts of the Constitution that they want to find a way to fight for, and maybe build partnerships, friendships with people that are going to fight on their team. Yeah.
The kinds of people that we need to have on our podcast. Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely. You guys better be there. I'm going to make sure. Well, Ray probably might be able to fly, but Steve, you're coming. You already know that.
I got to be there. Okay.
I will do my best to be there.
Are you doing any of this live? Facebook Live, YouTube Live, anything of that sort?
There will be a streaming option just like last year. If you're a member of the Great American Syndicate, we're going to find a way to do that. That's $4.99 a month. That's just our inner community. So there will be that option for those people. But yeah, it will be streamed. It will obviously from the community perspective and getting to meet people, you're not going to have that option you're not going to have that on video. But the speakers you will have on video. And I believe as though Ryan Weaver is going to be our musical act. We're working on a couple other people.
That is excellent. Well, Anthony, aren't you glad that Ray has a new toy?
Yes. Yeah, it is fantastic. He could push my buttons any day.
As he says it sarcastically.
By the way, the names are Cloward and Piven. Those were the people that I was talking about that want to collapse society and so forth. Yeah, so they're corrupt people. And guys, I hate to say this, but we are at the end of another amazing episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
I feel fantastic.
It's always a delight to have
you. We always love having you on our show.
Absolutely.
And welcome you back anytime.
I have fun with you guys. You guys are always a blast.
All right. Well, we're going to hit a new outro, so hold on. Folks, it has been a pleasure having you on the OBBM network today with Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. Y'all have a blessed day. See you next time.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.